Well, if at some point you decide to get serious about playing guitar for a living and you feel that the only way you can make it in your life is through playing the guitar as your main source of income, then you need to realize that the select number of people who have had success at this all share very similar qualities. They've all learned a lot through trial and error. They've all worked very long hours developing a lot of knowledge and experience for what they needed to do in order to establish and maintain their long-term success as a guitar player. Obviously, there's common things involved like versatility in music and confidence on your playing skills and just overall skill for musical ideas in general. But there's also other interesting attributes as well. So in this episode of the Guitar Blog Insider, we're going to discuss 4 traits that are involved with making a living playing guitar. In this discussion, I'll be running through 4 areas that are really important to anyone who's interested in playing guitar for a living. These areas are going to be, number 1, becoming a complete musician. Number 2 is going to be learning to both perform and record at a very high level. Number 3 will be getting comfortable with technology and software and all that stuff. And finally, number 4 is going to be learning to become competitive within what you're doing. And we'll talk more about that in this discussion. So let's get started with the first area that's going to be becoming a complete musician. Well, my first area of discussion is probably the most critical because it sets the stage for your entire career and your life as a musician. And it's the idea of becoming a complete musician, not just a guitar player, but a musician. So you know and understand music even when your guitar is packed away in the case in the corner of the room. And, being a well-educated, complete player, it means that you know the full range of harmonic concepts in music. So you're going to need to know a lot of stuff. You're going to need to know your instrument extremely well, how to compose music, how to, notate music, how to improvise. You're going to have to be able to do all of it confidently. Plus, in this business, you're going to also need to be able to do it very quickly, oftentimes on the spot. So this is going to all mean that you need your musical skills at a very, very high level. Basically, they have to be second nature. Your skill in areas like reading, arranging, interpreting rhythm and chord charts, improvisation, all of it cannot be, halfway there. Musical skills required to earn a living will need to be automatic, and you're going to need to be able to do them at anywhere, any time, with very minimal effort. These same skills also make up a large part of what will help you in developing your own personal style over the years. So this means you'll need to get educated, and in this day and age, the more education, the better. If you want to earn a living as a musician, but let's say you can't perform very well, you get freaked out when you go into a recording studio or something, maybe your styles are even limited. Perhaps you can only play rock and blues, but man, when someone throws a jazz tune your way or a funk tune, you're lost or whatever. If any of these things are going on with you, you've got a big problem because you have to have skills in all of these different areas, and you're going to have confidence to be able to play on stage with them or in the studio. And if you can't do it, then you're just going to lose work. You're going to lose jobs. Your name will go around town as the person who's not competent or whatever. And if you've completely set yourself up for this situation where there's a lot of areas in your playing that you're clueless in, when it comes to even basic areas, so let's say revolving around performing live, working with PA equipment, working with the recording process, if any of that's going on with you and you have problems in those areas, you're just never going to make it in this business. So the best way to learn this stuff is going to be through meeting and hanging out with people who know these skills very well. So some recording studios will offer on their off evenings, when it's slow in the studio, they'll offer some courses that they'll run, drop-ins where you can do some recording, work with some engineers, talk about the whole process. Sometimes if you get to know some people working in the clubs, they'll talk to you more about the PA system and the equipment, what they like to look for in the mix and how they like to mic amps, what some of the important mics are that they like to use. There's so much information like this that's absolutely valuable, and the more well-rounded you are with this information, the better and more valuable of a person you're going to be out there in the working atmosphere. So You have to think in the terms of this as if you have a lot of time spent with recording engineers, players, and all that who've performed a lot, done a lot of recording, and been around the scene for a long time, many years. The skills that you're going to naturally pick up on are going to be so incredibly valuable to you that just going to bleed over into so many other areas of your musician's life. So you have to realize that the help that you're going to get preparing yourself for all these areas is going to be invaluable to your future, and not just studio situations, live situations, but other things that you'll do that you probably can't even foresee that will happen in 10 or 15 years down the road. For instance, I started learning more and more about HTML and coding for the internet and working with websites around 2008, and I studied it over all these years, and now it's become a big part of what my income is and my job is as the studio owner around here. And that means having the website running, creating the membership area, and creating courses that are all digital. And I never knew how to do that stuff. If you would have told me 15, 20 years ago that I was going to be doing this as part of my music career, I would have even just said to you, what's the internet? It didn't even exist back when I started doing this job. So realize that as time goes on, your skills have to evolve. There's a future ahead of you, and it's not just going to involve live work and studio work. It may involve a lot of other platforms, a lot of other situations that you may encounter for years to come. Well, this area is a really important one, and it involves music software. It has become one of the biggest necessary areas for the professional musician to have developing their skills constantly and setting themselves up, more and more with over the months that go by. Over the last 10 years, I would say that it's probably one of the most important skills that the modern musician needs to have complete knowledge and control over, whether that's audio recording software like perhaps Pro Tools, Logic, or Cubase, or Adobe Audition, or many others, or maybe it's sequencing programs like FL Studio, Acid Music, or Sonar. Today's musician needs to understand these digital audio work environments, and if they don't, then unfortunately they will be left behind in the dust. It obviously requires hours and hours of time to learn software programs, and over the years, you're going to get more and more proficient, but regardless of how long it takes, this area cannot be overlooked, because learning to get the most out of all this state-of-the-art music software that we have nowadays is absolutely vital for today's professional musician. And without any skills in this area, you'll just never make a good living as a professional working musician. The music industry can be highly competitive. Sometimes things won't go your way, and even for the most ridiculous of reasons, even reasons that have nothing to do with your skills or your ability. It's just an odd industry to work in. Dealing with all of the very difficult people you're going to encounter will also often feel like it's driving you crazy. And if you can't, handle yourself well, if you're not good with competitive environments or in dealing with all of the really crazy, whacked out people that you're going to meet in this business, because some of these people will really get you down in the dumps if you let them, then you need to reconsider perhaps, because maybe this business may not be right for you. There's a complete package involved with being a career musician, and the most grounded and even well-balanced person will have a lot of trouble sometimes in this industry, because things will just baffle you when they're going on, So a big part of learning to cope with all of the idiotic stupidity that will come your way in this business is going to be having very good coping skills, good self-esteem, good feeling about yourself and your situations. And even if you get messed around with in a situation that you're in, well, you can just walk away from it and just like water off a duck's back. You can't let it bother you. The better that you can deal with stress, the better you can keep your head together in a lot of really crazy situations. It's just going to mean that it's the better that you're going to do in this business. Anyway, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on all of this in the comment section below. I want to say thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch up again next week on my other channel for another episode of the Guitar Blog Insider. Hello, I'm Andrew Wasson, the founder of Creative Guitar Studio. Creative Guitar is a professional guitar school that I established 25 years ago after I graduated from Hollywood, California's Musicians Institute. After building a successful local school, I decided to branch out to having online courses as well. So back in 2008, I decided to take Creative Guitar onto the internet and offer my guitar methods through both YouTube and on my website. Since then, I've had over 157,000 guitar players from over 100 countries take part in my online courses, and the courses have only become better with the material having grown so much over the years. Creative Guitar's curriculum has become one of the best ways available for guitar players to reach their playing goals. So click on the Join Now button below and sign up for your free membership. That free membership will allow you to view all the free members area videos, download certain handouts, watch samples of each course, and also purchase products from the online store. From there, you can take things a step further by signing up for either a basic or a premium membership package for as little as $14.95 a month. So click on the Join Now button and start taking advantage of everything the website has to offer.